This video is about reorder points in material resource planning. When we take a finished good and we deconstruct it into the parts or even materials needed to create it, we wind up with a long list, even for simple products. These lists are sometimes imprecisely called a bill of materials or BOM, but it doesn't matter what they're called. These parts in turn can come from sources each with different rates of fulfillment or time necessary to receive a shipment. Also, sometimes parts are common to different finished goods. For example, the mechanical parts used on one model or vehicle might be the same as those on another. However, the body parts will be different styles, and each style will have different colors. The mechanical parts are used more frequently than red door panels, for example. We call this the velocity. The sum of each part's velocity and rate of fulfillment determines its reorder point. Put very simply, the reorder point is the time at which inventory has depleted to where an order to replenish it must be placed to ensure that the part continues to be available. Expressed simply, it's something like this. Reorder point equal daily use into lead time plus buffer. Safety stock. Why is his so hard? We have brains that were never designed to instantly calculate and recalculate hundreds of numbers simultaneously. That's why we struggle with phone numbers or anything greater than 3 digits, for example. That's why we need material resource planning, MRP tools. Normally, a company has a demand forecast for a finished good, and this is entered into the MRP tool. This results in a production plan, what's going to be built and when. Because we already know the BOM and the lead times, we can enter the information in the MRP system. Then, knowing our production plan, the MRP tools, we know how many parts we're going to need and when we're going to need them. It's simple. The problem is that forecasts are frequently wrong. 70% accuracy is world-class. Lead times are just estimates, and there can be disruptions. Inventory on the shelf can perish or be misplaced or damaged. All these occurrences mean that the production plan needs to be hastily changed to delay assembly on products where the parts are unavailable, for instance. However, doing this accelerates need for other parts. So this is the dynamic. You create a demand forecast. You plan production. You enter all the required parts in the MRP along with lead times, and the system calculates reorder points. You order parts and commence production. But early sales are disappointing, for example, so the demand forecast is revised down for some finished goods. This necessitates a change to the production plan, which in turn affects the number of parts needed and the time they are needed. But to make matters more complicated, some deliveries are already in transit. Oh, and did I mention that the number of affected parts could number in the thousands? Also, warehouse shelf space is not limitless. Then consider that finished good may have different localization requirements, regional keyboards or power cords, for example. Then as soon as you revisit everything, another hiccup occurs necessitating you replan the whole thing again. Clearly this is bad, so in most companies, production plans are usually changed as a last resort. What you will see is supply chain organizations encouraging suppliers to delay or expediting shipments. The first is called pushing it out, and the second is called pulling it in. The big point is this. Anyone can order and sit on huge inventories, and this is the way business used to be done. However, these days, the ability of supply chain organizations to hold minimal amounts and ensure available supply, despite encountering challenges, is how companies distinguish themselves nowadays.